hands-on as possible. The goal is to, by the end of this session, have something on Spotify. Cool? And the goal is not going to be perfect. It's we want to go through the activity of having an idea, making something, publishing it. You can always take it down if you need to, but I want everyone to go through the actual activity end to end within an hour and 15 minutes. And the goal of that is to show you how easy it actually is to get from A to Z pretty quickly. How cool? Does that work? Okay, exciting. But first, I'll kick off a little bit more about me and my story. So I'm going to pull out some slides. I'll go to the top. And I guess the title of the workshop is called, I like alliteration. So the 5 P's of podcast production. There are 5 main P's that go into what this product is about. Number 1, of course, it's planning. It's kind of like you think, I want to tell a story, but you actually have to plan it to get it right. The second thing is prompts. What are the questions I want to ask once I want to tell the story? The third is production. What am I going to go to the next slide? The third is production. And then the fourth is promoting. Then I have to promote the thing that I just made on social media, and some people know it exists. And lastly, I think the thing people forget is perks. We make this thing for a reason, and a lot of intrinsic benefits that are really fulfilling in making it. But then there are also a lot of external things that come with making this medium called podcasting. So those are kind of the 5 P's, and we're going to dig into those today. But I've started 3 podcasts before, and how I got into this was through my own story. So I come from Zimbabwe, you might hear an accent, and Zimbabwe was a dictatorship, and the government would stifle freedom of expression in the media. So there was one television channel when I grew up. Radio was heavily policed, and foreign journalists were actually banned. So it meant one voice, one point of authority, one story being told. So if I wanted to hear diverse stories, I'd have to go like digital satellite television, which was both American and British content. And I didn't really grow up with many local, authentic stories and voices. So when technology started to evolve, I really began to watch a ton of YouTube and then seeing people like myself making content and stories, and that was just so invigorating. And then podcasting became a medium that I could access because it was a truly decentralized form of media. So I could do a recording at my desk via Zoom, publish it somewhere, and someone in Poland would hear it. And for everyone else, that seems really trivial. But for someone like myself who grew up with a lack of access to local stories, it was like a mind-blowing thing. So I started my own podcast. It was called Zimbabwean Voices, and the idea, I kind of had a website for it, and the idea behind it was there's a why, and the why is just telling positive stories about where I came from. So if you hear about where I came from, it's all about bad economy, dictatorship, government, but actually, we eat ice cream too. Our kids go to playgrounds. We have people that are doing amazing stuff in business, philanthropy, art, music, etc. And I wanted to tell those stories, and podcasting gave me a vehicle through which I could tell them, and that was incredibly fulfilling. I got really good messages, sponsors, etc. But it was hard. It was really hard to make the editing. I'm not technical in terms of how to make audio, etc. So I was like, geez, how can I simplify this thing for myself? And now what I work on is I built technology with a team from Georgetown to make it easy for anyone to get started and publish, or to edit a podcast, and eventually be able to publish it. So bringing the technical barrier really low so anyone can get going. So that's kind of my story and how I got into the medium. And then also, whilst I was at Georgetown too, I also started a podcast as well. At the business school, there were 3 of us as Africans, now there's 17. But when we started a podcast telling us, more about how cool Georgetown was, what are the African stories here, a lot of people listened to that, admissions increased. We're telling the African story of African business students, and it was incredible. It was fun, fulfilling, and we got to broadcast stories across the world. And we got great messages. People wanted to ask about coming to Georgetown, etc. And I met with 20 of them last weekend. It seems like you're at your desk. This is a very small thing that I'm doing, but you'd be very surprised when you look at the analytics that, whoa, this thing was seen in Jamaica, or this thing was listened to in Nigeria, or wherever it might be. And you might all have your own particular stories that you want to share with the world. And I'm excited to help you guys get started. So to get started, the first thing I want to kind of talk about is planning. Now we're going to dive into stuff. I want to maybe just just get people's perspectives, what stories they want to tell, what's the kind of the genesis of the idea. So I'll start out with you, Camilla, if that's okay.
I feel like I had like a sort of inspiration like maybe in February earlier this year, and I feel like a lot of my ideas that I wanted to pursue were kind of like social phenomena that were specifically like culturally based on like maybe the way certain ethnicities are perceived, or like how their beliefs kind of influence the way they act.
And in asking just a sort of thing, or asking people about
it would be more kind of like research based rather, but I would think like bring in like the perspectives of like researchers, or like professors, like experts on
the subject.
Yeah.
Cool. Amazing. How about you, Kasia? What are you thinking of sharing with the world?
So I'm a newly intended editor on our journal CCT, and we have a.
This is an office.
Yes, yes.
I listen to the stuff. Good.
Oh yeah. I also listened to it before I applied, and I'm doing a bit of research.
Gotcha.
And I'm interested in the podcast channel, and I want to bring it back. And I don't know anything about podcasting, so I thought this was the perfect opportunity to get some job work.
Awesome. One more person, Nikki, I don't know what you.
Hi everyone. My academic background is a little bit different. I'm in the Master's of Science for Addiction Studies. I went to law school prior to this, and my idea is something my friend and I were talking about, that we took a little bit of a different route. Often when you go to law school, you go to work for a firm. It's not always the case, but we wanted to integrate the discussion of public interest and what alternative JD careers looks like, and from the school that we came from, the resources were a little bit lacking. So we would like to have open and honest dialogue that you can do other things than be a lawyer when you go to law school.
That's great. Yeah, well, I've seen a lot of people who they've always been on that route, but there's so many more things you can do, and you need to tell that story so that people know that they can do other things. Okay, one more person. I know we spoke briefly about what you wanted to do for your club. So maybe.
Do you want me to share? So I'm part of the Latin American Policy Association. So basically I am part of the board for 2024 to 2025, and looking into the difference between 2023 and 2024, we noticed that a little of a snobby feeling in the content that we used to do. So it will be a lot of events and pictures of the events with the guests, and that will be it. So now our proposal is to have something like that we can leave for the people that could not attend, or people that are considering Georgetown as their school. So something that actually is like a plus to the whole Georgetown community. So we thought, since we get people to come here as guests, we will book some more time with them and have them record a podcast. And that's basically our idea, and I am leading that project with no knowledge.
Cool. Okay, so that's really exciting. So what I wanted to do is, I don't know if I got all your mails, but I sent you an email that has a bunch of resources. We're working on trimming it down, but the first thing is a spreadsheet. I don't know if everyone has a laptop that they can open. No? You got an iPad?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, you can see. Okay. So the first thing, essentially, I'm going to go to this tab, and it essentially goes through just like a 5-question questionnaire just to get the foundations right for some of these perspectives that you want to tell. I met with Professor Mark McDonald, who is part of he teaches for the grad program, and also has an undergrad professor who teaches podcasting, and with my own experience. And what we learned was there are kind of 5 broad things that you just need to set up in the beginning when you want to start a podcast. So the first thing is, like, what is it even about? And I think that's part of what I was trying to do to get you guys getting that spoken out loud so you can hear it. The second thing is, like, who is it for? Like, I'm making this thing, but who is this person for? Is it for college students? Is it for the Latin American community? In my case, it was for young Zimbabwean people who want to hear positive stories, very clear. And then it's like, well, how many do I want to make? the statistics show that 75% of podcasts that start don't get past episode 4. 75%. So 3 and 4 people are starting this thing, and then they get to the end and say, wow, this is kind of hard. And I think part of it is because they don't set the goals and anticipation up front. It's like, do I want to do a season? Do I want to do 5, 10? And sometimes when you start something without a goal, it becomes easy to drop off because you churn. So what I want us to do is get the foundations right, so we can have realistic expectations of ourselves, of what success even means for us at this stage, right? And then the last thing will be like, how long do I want to produce it over? What is the format? And then the medium, audio, video, etc. So first question, I think, so now we're going to do hands-on work with our hands now. So I'm going to take 5 minutes. Everybody very quickly fill in the form, starting, and I'll also do it with you so we're on the same page. And if you look at the bottom, there might be tabs with your names on there. I don't know if everyone has one. There should be like a tab at the bottom with everyone's name on it. So if you find your tab at the bottom, what I'll then do is just spend 5 minutes, it will literally take you 5 minutes. So just very quickly, put in your details there.
If your Wi-Fi is acting up, use that one. GW360. Saxonet is not working. It's happening sometimes.
Yes. I'll give you one until, let's say, 25 past or so.
Sorry, my name is not on the sheet.
Okay, let me finish that tab for you right now. So I'll say 28. It's SH. Yeah, it's Y. Y-A-S. Y-A-S. A-I-S.
And double N, yes.
And spell. I'll make sure that So yeah, the goal is to just think about the thing we're trying to make and just set it up right and plan for it. And this can always change, but at least it's good to have something set up front to begin with.
I cannot see it.
Oh wow, sorry, let me try it. How are we looking? Everyone good? Good. Okay. And it doesn't have to be an essay. It can just be enough to give a flavor. Cool? Yes, ma'am.
I have a question, you may cover this
Mhm.
later. I'm just curious, so part of like a mental barrier of starting
Yep.
some sort of podcast is feeling like everyone and their mother and their grandmother has started a podcast
Yes.
recently. How I know sometimes with content creation, you just have to put it out there.
Yes.
But how do you kind of work through feeling that maybe things are so similar, or, you know, why is this needed, why is this unique
Yes.
to what I'm putting out there? Why would someone listen to what we're saying as opposed to someone else?
That's a really good question. You know, we studied the whole of last semester. We had someone who was working with us doing our capstone. She was a great student. And she said, often today we're learning about the functional way of making this medium. But often the biggest barrier isn't just the functional, it's the emotional underneath. You might even record it and hear yourself on the software and be like, oh, I don't like the sound of my voice. Or I feel weird thinking about my perspective being as valuable or unique or what have you. I think the way in which we look at it is that podcasting is just a medium. No one would ever say, oh, I think we should stop making books now. A song is a medium. A movie is a medium. It's just a medium through which you express a particular story or opinion. And certain songs or stories or movies can only be said by Ion. There's certain perspective that only you can say. At this time, at this point in history, with this perspective, in the way in which you say it, only you can say it in that particular way. And that's the way in which we look at it. Of course, part of this is part of the, we try and set you up to be like, okay, but still be targeted and try and figure out what is my show about, what is my audience, am I hitting my bullseye? And there's data that you can show whether you're doing that. But emotionally, before you even get to that point, it's starting, and remember that your perspective is truly your perspective. And having confidence in that, I think, is the thing that gets you over the hump. That's the way in which I would answer you.
Yeah, thank you.
Good question.
I appreciate that.
I'm sorry, did I get you? Hi.
Hi, I was good.
No, it's perfectly fine. Don't worry. I didn't get your name. Yes. Did you get an email from me?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you should get an email from me on Dumi. It's just like a.
It makes me feel any better. I used to be obsessed with the idea of having an ASMR podcast because I have long nails and I wanted to like tap on everything. And like I kind of did it just with my phone. No, I don't have any like I would say followers, but I just felt so much pleasure doing it.
Okay.
It was like going for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and if anyone else wants to comment on that.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna follow up,
yeah.
and feel free to like shut me up and stop
No,
me.
please,
If you're,
follow
well, if you're gonna get to this.
No, we'll
stop
get
me.
to it, but.
I was wondering if you found more than just like a unique tone. For instance, the last 2 years of my undergrad, I actually produced and filmed and recorded and edited a whole podcast for some USC football players.
Yeah.
And it was very, there were 2 guests, but it was very guest heavy every time, whether it was a panel or just one.
Coming in.
But we found if we could play with traditional norms like setting,
Changes it.
yeah, so about 3 weeks in, we made the move and he bought the guy who was the star,
Yeah.
bought a used food truck. So we actually drove the food truck to all our guests and we shot everything within the food truck, and that kind of started to make us stand out, or at least we noticed like interaction-wise, people started to look at us because we just changed up our setting from a traditional
Yes.
recording booth to this moving truck throughout LA.
Yeah, I often look at that. Like I saw a news format yesterday, I saw someone just doing a recording, but they were just standing the whole time.
Yeah.
And it was the two of them just standing and talking. And that in and of itself was like, wow, I've never seen anything like this where people are talking but standing, like normally, like quite cooler.
I think
So different.
Yeah, finding your unique
Yeah.
like thing. Cause I listened to a podcast and this girl, she had the audio version, but if you go through the video version, she's doing her makeup all the time while she's telling true crime stories. And like, it's just.
It's a true crime podcast?
It's a true crime podcast. And she's literally just doing her makeup. She's not talking about her makeup. She's just going through it. And you're like so like, and she will like eventually like pop up with like the pictures of the people she's talking about. But all of her podcasts
Yeah.
is just like
Just doing true crime. But to your point, like there are all these different ways to go about doing it, and often I think, but the key thing is starting. Often people like they get in your head about what is the way in which I can be so distinctive, but often that comes with time once you get into a cadence, and then you get feedback from people like, hey, have you ever thought about then you start adjusting it. But we want to get you over like the hump.
That's awesome.
We want like starting is the biggest thing, and often people get in their own way, and that's kind of why these sessions are today, because it gets us going and gets us moving. Whilst we're here, I'm curious about people's formats. Can I get a show of hands of audio versus video in the form? What was audio? Interesting. Okay, just by show of hands so I can see. What was audio?
Audio.
Okay. Video? Okay. Super interesting. Okay, cool. That's perfect. So we filled in the forms. Yeah. So now what I want to do is I want you to, I don't know what the AI policy is or what the feedback on AI is here, but I want to do this thing in a short space of time. I believe in using the tools available in our age right now to move quickly, to get over the hump of not starting things. So what I want to do is, you can see I'm going to ask everyone to just download like a PDF of the form that they just filled in. Just download it if you can. Of course, not everyone might have a computer, but if you can just download a PDF, you can see here, and you click export. Very simple. And what I'm going to do now is just start getting some prompts ready. And you don't have to use this, but it's just in case you're having like writer's block. I want everyone to think about, just to copy, if you look at the screen, you're going to, at the bottom of your page will be a part where it says prompt. I've given you a prompt basically, which you can go to a model, and then you enter the prompt, and then you upload your own document that's specific to your particular production, right? And then you upload it. And the goal is to just give you 2 or 3 questions so that you can then ask, you can do a turn and talk with a friend, and then all we're going to start doing now is recording question answer. So it's very quick. I gave some 3 prompts that people can use for my own show, but everyone else might have their own particular outputs that they might get. Let me know if you guys have access to that. Are you okay, Iona? You good? No? Are you blocked?
Are we putting, I saw the prompt,
Yeah.
create a sample list of,
Mm-hmm. This is just something to copy and paste to you.
okay, I have the template of the,
Go to, if you use GPT, copy paste it in there, then just upload the PDF in the, or you can't, or I think I might have a, interesting, okay. I assumed you had a PDF upload.
let's see, maybe I can,
You got it? You can't, okay, that's a learning curve, that's fine. So what we're going to do now is, based on our show, we're going to use our imagination and ask questions based on our particular productions. So for example, let me use my phone. I'm going to come to Iona now and do like a, does everyone have an iPhone, by the way?
yeah.
Do you have an iPhone? Okay. So Iona and I are going to do like a live demo based on, so I have my show. What's your show about again? It's about the law school, right?
JD alternatives.
Okay. So I'm going to do a voice memo recording about JD alternatives. Iona, thank you so much for being with me here today. I'm here to talk about JD alternatives. What makes you want to start this podcast?
I'd like to start this podcast because I felt like the academic institution that I went to did not provide enough resources on this particular topic. So I'd like to be able to help future law school students, law school graduates, and any other students who may be interested in the legal profession.
Okay, perfect. What did you have for breakfast this morning?
Cheese.
Okay, cool, perfect. I'm going to ask if you all to do that same exercise with somebody that's your neighbor. You can going to go to the corner of the room, but just find like a space where you can just do a short voice memo. Is that cool? If you want to leave, you can do that as well. Perfect. If you want to leave, you can do that as well. But we have, let's say, 5 minutes. At 25:02, we can reconvene. Is that cool? Perfect. Does that work?
It has to be,
Are we
If you have any questions. Any questions? Is that confusing?
are we doing this specifically on our podcast, or it can be any question?
If you can, try and make it about yours, and you can make an imaginary answer. If not, just any question is fine. Just so we go through the exercise. If that's confusing, just make it about any question. But what I wanted to do is get the exercise of the recording done, so we know what it's like to do a voice memo recording, and then what it's like to edit and produce it. Cool. So 5 minutes, ask a couple of questions, and
I don't have a paper.
hey,
I'll just.
yeah.
Yes.
Katya, how about you? I'll do.
Oh, wait, so
But we can,
Yeah, we can do it together.
he's not like signing on the spreadsheet.
That's fine.
How did you get it to work?
Well, I don't know, I just copied and pasted this
Oh,
rather
yeah.
than doing it on PDF. I don't really know what to
It was like,
Okay, so,
Since I just did mine,
okay, you wanna, like,
I can record, you know.
and then
Yeah.
I'll like the test.
But where's the
Hi.
You download it.
from? Should I maybe should we do this?
Latin American Association.
This is not this side.
And
Yeah.
part of our goals with this
Right, so
is to create a podcast that will allow us
I guess
to
we have a spot.
added
I know,
value to
I know.
students
But
who
it's
cannot
really
attend
like
all of our
I find
events.
it's something that
Some
I need to practice as well because you know when you're just reading off a script, like you can tell when you, well, like when you're listening to a podcast and they're just reading off a script, it's not as engaging as if they're just making it up and going like going along. But then I don't know. I guess it depends on the vibe of the podcast. But I feel like the podcast that I'd want to do, I wouldn't want it to be super informal and like you know when they just like ramble, like people ramble too much. And it's I don't.
So you want to have it be more scripted?
This
Yeah, well,
podcast is
I think
not
mine
only
I
for
want
the
to
people
have
from
interviews,
that are already members
So,
of LABA,
to
but
be honest, I
also
wouldn't
for
be
the
doing
people
that
are
much
outside
speaking.
the Georgetown community that may
But then it's like
maybe
making
explore
sure to
Georgetown
ask
as an option,
like,
either
yeah.
the right
for,
question.
like public policy or
Yes.
maybe Latin American studies.
And also,
There's
I
also
usually
like
listen to
there's
those,
other
like,
Latin American policy associations,
influencers
other
podcasts,
universities
like
such as
Pretty Faces,
Harvard,
more
like,
influencers.
Yale. So we want to do like we want to have a differential factor from all of these because what they all do usually, and we also do it, is like just have some events and have people come in and talk to us. But it's very limited to the people who
I
have
like.
availability
I don't know, I
at
wish I
the
had
right
that kind
moment
of
in the right time
oh,
and be
yeah, the confidence thing
available
that,
to
oh yeah,
people
people
in
just
a
find it
place.
interesting
Whether
and
it's
rambling
like
on.
in
Like,
the
I don't,
capital
I'm
campus
like,
or the main campus.
I don't know, I
we
need
want
to,
to
I
do
need
is
to plan
open
it and like
the
make sure
doors
that there's
towards other
a bit
people
more like
that might be
substance to
interested
it.
in Georgetown.
Because they
And
are
also
famous, so
help
people
Yeah.
institutions
But I think
have
that's
better
like,
names.
I think that's the problem with, you know
What
how,
we give
I
out
heard
as
someone who was sort of saying that like everyone's
That's
creating
basically what we want to do.
like and so like if you're already famous then people will listen to it whether it's ramble like whether it's good content or not, but if you're not famous then you have to have it has to have like
one
that
of the
niche or
first
that like
motivations
expertise that
we had was the integration
If you're already in
of
that spot, like you have to work
LinkedIn.
as hard to like get yourself out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the integration of LinkedIn on
yeah right so
media.
it was just asking like
Yeah.
Be able to have
I really
Don't worry about it, man.
our members,
okay you can ask
I appreciate it.
show
Thank you.
their
Yeah, I got
personality,
it. I just want to shoot that Diddy thing.
not necessarily their
Episodes today.
Why did you, or actually explain a little bit more about how to podcast?
we want to show our heritage, our
So
identities. So I would think
to start
that
a podcast,
the audio visual
on
is
inspiring
the way to go for us right
sports,
now.
inspiring stories from
If
sports.
you are currently
Because
as
I don't know
boys,
and I feel like I'd love
around 20 to 30 emails
that I
a
can
day.
like
The
to my
newsletter might be a lot of effort for us, but not a
I
lot
think
of
there's an
return.
universal
So we think that podcast is more available for
and
students
I
whenever
listen to
they
quite a
have
few other
time
podcasts
to
already.
like listen to it. If there's
But
like a
they're
specific
mainly
thing they're like
guy, like
maybe
this guy's
working on,
hosting it.
this podcast might be something they can reference
So
on
to
as
have like a
research for
female
them,
host
you know? So that's
and bring a more international aspect to it because I think a lot of them,
I like coffee.
well, they're
I
like British
literally
ones
just
or
have coffee.
Australian, but they just focus on like the people that they know, whereas I want to like interview
What
people
about you?
from all around.
And can you eat during the morning?
What did you have for breakfast?
I had so we get like breakfast made for us, and it was like in a little box, and I brought it to the veranda, so the terrace. Sat on a
I cannot even do food. I'll do like a cheese stick
and 2 borders
and coffee. Period. Don't need anything else. Good to go.
from Winners.
That was
I do the
good, I
same.
think.
Well, but now right now I'm
Very
purchasing
natural.
from Starbucks because
I don't know, I thought,
work shift
yeah,
starts
the
at
first
7 a.m.
I don't know
in my
whether
campus,
it's like
and I live
how much you go on.
You got it.
And like,
Where'd you
I feel like I can't speak very eloquently at all. Like when I, it's almost on the spot. Like I even used to do it while I went into school.
Oh, you got it?
And I
Yeah.
tried really hard to like,
No, you got it.
like
It's
say
perfect, yeah.
whatever on the spot and like really follow my way, but it was just like.
No, it's just
Yeah.
like the reason.
I don't know, because I've been doing
Okay, perfect. I want to wrap everyone up.
because I've been doing like videos, and everyone's like seeing characters on the Wait, what was I saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What Florida?
Renee, you got to speak. You have to speak there?
They're my
Okay,
voices.
perfect. Thank
So
you.
have you been wanting to start a podcast for that?
Not for a while, more like the beginning of this year.
Okay.
And I was like actually kind of planning to do it, and then I stopped looking.
I just can't open any doors. So I had to have someone open it for me. But other than that, like,
Where
I would like to love to be behind. But I think part of the mental is getting really scheduled. So actually I'm moving out like literally in a month, like literally 19th of October, to a building that is like 2 blocks away from 85 on the same H Street. It's called Alta. It's just on the corner. Yeah, I love that building. I have a lot of friends there, and I found it really good. Don't want any roommates anymore. Oh my
Okay. Might call that for now.
Around the world,
Is that
and
okay?
they talk
Thank you so much.
I don't know, just sharing a meal with them. I'm like,
Catch up. We'll
hey,
move
I
on to the
just
next
learned
one.
something so cool about your culture.
Everybody, we want to
That's
move on to the
like
next.
following
We've done the prompts and we started production. How are we feeling? Good?
Yeah.
Is that helpful? Okay, great. So now we know what it's like to do a recording, which is great. Congratulations. And it didn't have to be on a mic or on a big, whatever. It was really simple and straightforward to do. What I'm going to do now is, there's so many different tools. Like there's Adobe or Premiere. There's so many tools out there. We're making one as well, but it doesn't have to be your way of doing it. But we're just showing you a streamlined way of using a tool to edit part of the content that you just made, the production that you just did. So if you go to your email that I shared with you, there'll be a link to a tool called Shanda. That's what we're making, but I'm not saying it's the one that you have to use, but for today, we're going to just use it for the sake of that exercise. Yes, exactly. So we're just editing all of this stuff, but essentially if you look at your link, it should show this. Do you guys have it?
Yeah.
On the email? No?
I do not receive.
Okay, or if you can just say shanda.studio in your browser. If you look at the link there, if you look at the URL at the top, yes?
Create our content.
Yeah, just create an account. I'll just show you like a 3-step way to edit, or at least to show you how what editing might look like. In a simple way. And well, if you've done that, what I'm going to ask is, if you all have your recording, does everyone know how to use AirDrop?
Yeah.
No? Okay. You told me this yesterday. The recording that you both had, it's on your iPhone?
Yes.
Okay, great. And you have on yours?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to do it one at a time. Could you AirDrop yours to your computer?
You want me to airdrop the
Sure.
AirDrop, sorry.
Yeah, it's
No, that's okay. You AirDrop it. So if everyone AirDrops their recording to their desktop.
Or do you want me to
Oh.
try to record?
What do you mean?
Like, do you want to use this?
Oh, I have.
Oh, you have some.
Oh, yeah.
Well, not like all right. I mean, maybe I should just go
Yeah.
and do that.
You have your phone.
To do
Yeah.
that thing.
Yeah, I understand. It's on
Sorry.
What's your,
Oh, I see. Voice name.
is your
I don't have a super
job
high
open
score.
for
I don't know what it says
everyone?
about me.
Changed laptops so
Google Chrome anymore?
Everyone.
Oh, I know, I used to sucks. The opposite. I didn't do it.
I got like, I think I had Chrome in my first year, and then next time I pointed out that
It's
this was like a
totally
scam,
fine.
like it was like
Oh, your MacBook,
and then
do you know your MacBook name?
That's it?
Yeah, should be fine. I'm gonna come back to make sure that you're all set up.
You're full.
So we all logged.
I don't know, you'd be surprised. We got
No. Eh? Oh. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask everyone to log in and upload their audio. To see, I don't know if you're on the dashboard, you'll see something like this once you've logged in. You'll see something like
Does your
that.
iPhone can't see your MacBook? I'll get to your. Is your MacBook called iOS MacBook as well, or is it?
Okay, we're still getting set up.
You should, I'm gonna say oh, that's my Or might be Dragos. Oh, accept.
Then you should be able to airdrop it from your phone to your easier.
Thank you so much.
Do you guys manage? Sorry, it took a while. You managed?
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. So I'm using one of Katya's recordings that I just recorded outside right now. Hey?
I don't know who's interviewed, but he sounds very handsome.
Give it a second. Ooh. Oh, sorry. So I should be. Which one?
Call me master on people.
Thanks. Cool. Did you upload your file?
How do I do it in on iPad?
Oh, on the iPad? Okay, it's a bit confusing. Let me get it once.
How do you go through the stage of being cringing at your own voice and actually reposting a podcast?
Good question.
To be honest,
What's your take?
for me, it wasn't until I like said something that I actually wanted to show people. Like not the best example, but we had an actor. He was a comedian. He's a stand-up comic who was in the Barbie movie, or like, do either of you guys know Kill Tony? The big like. You guys have you seen Shane Gillis do Donald Trump, and there's another guy who does Joe Biden. And they just did
Yeah,
Madison
I
Square
think so.
Garden.
It rings
He's
a
the
bell.
Joe Biden.
Okay.
I used to like hate being on it until I cracked
Until
a
you were
joke. I
excited
cracked a
about it.
joke to him, and it like made him laugh so much. So I was like, well, I fucking gotta show people this. And then I just became more comfortable with it, and I was
Okay.
like, all right.
Okay, gotcha.
I think also once you find that you're saying something about you, you
Exactly.
will be more.
Because if you're like, and you can tell about any other times you say or have any sort of like that those moments that makes you cringe because you're like not sure what you're saying that much. I don't know. I'll just have to deal with myself.
It's a great question.
People charge for
I
drugs.
feel like now if I hear me recording, even for class I record sometimes.
Oh, looks like
Yeah,
You know, in my head,
Yeah.
I
slow?
sound so fluent in English, and then I'm like,
Oh, is it in?
In my head, I'm phenomenal. I'm like, I can sing, I can.
I'm Obama in terms of like public speaking.
Thank you. Is that the fun?
Yeah.
Can you just check something?
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't see it. Yeah.
The Creole one.
Shanda work with like video?
So we want to do video, but for now it's audio. Do you think video would be like helpful?
I mean, for me, but it's okay. I mean, I'm just asking if, because I kind of understand what this is going to go through,
Mhm.
but does it have the video option as well or not?
Not yet.
Yes.
Not yet.
Wait, is this yours? Would you please?
Yeah. so yeah.
This thing is there.
Working on it. Working on it.
Because I mean, I didn't want to open it, and I was like, oh, I understand this.
Yeah, I guess
It made sense.
It makes sense.
But that would be
Actually,
really
there's
cool, having
so
like
context.
videos
We're making this, so it means
yeah.
there's a bug.
Yeah.
But that's my mistake. I'm gonna give you another file to test with. Is that okay? Yeah. So we're making the software. It means there's a bug. So which means it's good learning for us to learn that okay, something was not working. But I'm gonna give you.
Oh, this is official premiere, something like that. Please, sir.
I'm gonna give you another one. This is one that I did with. This one that I did with Ella yesterday. So just let me know if you received that. Actually, one. Okay, try that one. Cool, but whilst everyone's here, the idea is that sometimes in a conversation, like when you start your recording, there are certain things that you don't want in there that you want removed. So, for example, let me go through a demo that I did with Ella yesterday. Let's see. Hey Ella, thank you so much for being with me this morning. What are you most excited about for our workshop today?
Hi Dumi, thank you for coming and talking. I'm really excited for the CCT community to learn something hands-on and something that is so related to what they're learning every day. So super excited for the community aspect of it.
Awesome. And what did you have for breakfast this morning?
I haven't had breakfast yet. Actually, I only had coffee and I'm really hungry. How about you?
Well, I had some bananas, so hopefully we can get fed soon.
Smart man, smart.
So, whilst I love culture, what she had for breakfast isn't necessarily important for the final user, which is cool for us, but I think sometimes a person might want to be specific on the workshop at hand, right? So, if you look at traditional editing, it's really like technical for the most part. So what we're trying to do is use like text as a way to edit it rather than, you can still use the waveform if you want, like at the bottom, but you can just use text-based editing as a way to basically, edit the recording. So for example, let me cut out that part there. I'm gonna play it back. For being with me this morning, what are you most excited about for our workshop today?
Hi. Super excited for the community aspect of it.
So it skips over certain parts of the conversation. So in your particular instances, there will be cases where you don't want to have certain parts of the conversation, and you're like, let me cut that out, and that's what you'll have to deal with. In your particular recordings, what you'll find is that there are a lot of background noise in there as well. I don't know if you heard, like there was a lot of chatter in the background when people were speaking, right? Sometimes you might want to clean that kind of a recording out. So you'll see in like the email that I sent you another tool called Orphonic, and it's essentially just an AI tool that you don't need a microphone, but it just removes part of the conversation, the background noise from the conversation, as opposed to you having to have a microphone. So if you look at the link, it'll go to your Orphonic. So let me not record. I'm
Is
going
that
to.
yours too?
Pardon?
Is that yours too?
We're building it into our tool, but right out separate. So we yes, Ayana, go.
Which one? Would you kindly be able to send me the email?
Oh wow, I can't believe I didn't. My apologies. Let me do it right now.
Take your time.
Let me do it right now.
Thank you.
I'm going to forward you a mail that I sent to everyone else. But for those of you who have it, check Orphonic. It's essentially, sometimes you always think, do I need a mic? Do I need all of these other things? But really, you don't need that much. You just need to know what tools are available at your disposal. So I want to just make sure I forward this to Ayana.
Thank you.
Ayana, what's your email?
IZ78.
IZ.
The first, yes.
Yep, there you go. Yeah, you're right. I did not send that to you. Apologies for that. So I showed you what it's like to remove content, but sometimes background noise gets in the way. And you need to, like for example, you hear that buzz?
Yeah.
When you start recording, that stuff shows up in your audio, and that needs to be removed from the, well, you don't have to do it, but sometimes people notice like, hey, why was it so noisy in the background when you're actually doing that recording? So I'm trying to just show you some of the tools you can use to clean that up. So essentially, this is a tool that we're building into our software, but you can still use it outside of that right now. So I'm going to do a demo. I'm going to come to the site, and I'm going to just show you. You guys can practice with yours if you want, but you come here, and then this will basically be the file that Ayon and I used yesterday. So let me start processing, and it should take like a couple of minutes, and I'll just process it. And what it's doing is, you'll see it's removing abstractions or stuff that just shouldn't be in the recording from the audio itself.
For me, it said something about select algorithm. Or
Oh, good question. It's a good question. Just press start. Basically, it's like you can customize it, but just click.
So, because there's different ones.
Just do the one that says voice cleaner, keep music. Now start processing it. And you can just log in. It's pretty easy to. So this is mine, Iona's. Sorry, this is mine and Ella's recording as an example. So if you listen to the previous one, it sounded like this. Hey Ella, thank you so much for being with me this morning. What are you most excited about? There's a bit of noise in the background for our workshop today.
Hi Dumi, thank you for.
And this one sounds a bit like. I'll unmute this one.
Coming and talking. I'm really excited for the CCT community to learn something hands-on and something that is so related to what they are learning every day. So super excited for the community.
It's a cleaner recording, basically. So if you want to, you can use tools like that separate the chatter from your recording. Any questions, comments, concerns? Yes, Ayana?
I had a question about the Shanda platform.
Mm-hmm.
I see that there are also text words. So is that for the purpose of if we want to
move. Mm-hmm.
oh my God, what's the word? If you want to provide a translation for individuals, or can that also be edited?
It's good. Maybe I'll go back. So typically, if you've seen a Word document, of course, you know it typically looks like that. And sometimes people get intimidated by using like Audacity or other tools like that. So the idea is, if you want to just delete it like a Word doc, you can do that alternatively.
Oh, okay.
So you can play with it and just delete it and cut it.
Okay. So
And I will skip over and then delete the word from the final recording.
And can you add in like I was listening and I said wonderful, but in the recording, in the text, it didn't catch the word wonderful. So can I go back and add that in?
Good question. So not yet, but what you can do is, if it doesn't come up there, there's an editor at the bottom that you can still drag and then cut out the wonderful part.
Okay.
So you've got two ways of editing. There's the text, or you can use this part right here at the bottom that allows you to cut out that at the bottom. And you can zoom in and really get a fine cut if that's what you want.
And for the text capabilities above 10, are we able to copy and paste that
Yeah.
to another?
Yes.
Okay.
You can definitely copy and paste that to another document if you want to do it.
Just wondering, does Shanda have capabilities to accept multiple files? Like I'm recording from multiple mics.
Eventually, but not yet.
Yeah, cool.
So the multiple file that it does except it's really purely like audio. So the next step will be like, so like audio music will be the file, but not multiple stacked files. So most podcasts, it'll be like, hey, there'll be intro music like this, for example, as an example. And then let me just add that one there as well. Let's do that. No, just select. No, come on, it's bugging. So essentially, you'll maybe, let me choose that song. Okay, great. So then I can choose that one as the outro. So typically the multiple files, to answer your question, is kind of like this. On the beginning, then it will fade into. Hey Ella, thank you so much for being with me this morning. What are you most excited about? But eventually you want to add background, etc. But the thing we try and not do that is because sometimes people want an NPR level. This is the Novus podcast and this background music in the middle of the recording. When you're getting into that territory, it's very technical, and those have full-time teams. So there's a whole range of making a podcast where there's all this level of detail and editing, etc., and that requires a full-time person. But if your person just wants to just make something for your club or etc., there's a way in which you can do it. Intro, outro, main recording, cut out the fluff, next task.
No, I mean, it makes it way more accessible.
Just a little bit more easier. Cool. No, but it's a very good point. So has everyone uploaded their files, just so we can start getting towards publishing now? Has everyone uploaded their file?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you gone to the intro and outro music set, to the step 2?
Where is this sets?
Pardon?
Where I can find these sets.
Or you can download that.
Yeah, should I go to?
Have you downloaded it?
I think so. You can use it. Can't find it there.
So now it's.
Oh.
Okay. You can do this. Really happy with that? Okay, great. So that's fine. Then you can just stay there and we'll watch the next step. You can stay there. Is that cool?
Okay.
Have you watched your stuff?
Okay. And then
Yeah, that's
no,
fine.
it's like say if I just want to copy that out of the transfer.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Just go through it.
Doesn't mean they're positive.
The transcript makes you realize how much I use
Yeah.
That should do the same.
I
That
think
should do the same. Then from there you can then say,
I make him look as bad
let
as I
me,
can.
once it loads, you should be able to clean
Okay.
certain parts. Maybe give it a second and then,
Okay.
thank you.
Maybe like refresh the page.
Is it bugging?
To move forward.
Or it keeps bugging?
Yeah. I wasn't sure. Oh, okay.
If you need
Should be a
headphones,
bit.
by the way.
And then for the out,
Do you
the
want,
outro
do you want headphones?
was,
We should,
Oh,
when
which
when
one?
you've progressed your thing, we should do a cultural slash.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. So I feel like that's really,
I
yeah.
can't.
And then we can
so-
get
okay,
into
wait.
scandals and all that.
Do you have earphones on right now?
I do not know.
Oh, this is meant to be loud. I wonder why I can't hear it. On your.
I think there was one other time, I think it was like May-ish, I did like a podcast thing with like a different, like PCS or something. And I used some
Yeah, I wasn't
websites,
sure if
like
it's like-
I
No, it's
like
alright.
it better like this.
It's a little too quick.
But I don't remember what it was.
You sound like you're on a
And
really
how
bad
can you
sitcom.
Which song did you like?
It was
You know?
like kind of,
That one?
In your
Okay.
opinion,
it
do
was more
you
intuitive to
like
just
to
like,
have the
and I
same
feel like
song
they gave
over
me
and over
more
again, or
like,
like,
Mm.
yeah.
So it's consistent. Like, oh, I hear this song, it means I own this show.
Yeah.
No, what? Because we
I
for
don't-
my
That's all right,
other,
I'm saying
are
that.
you undergrad as
Well,
well?
see him.
Yeah.
Or are you masters?
So we like
Are you a master's at CCT? Oh, okay. Oh, nice.
what is
Sorry, I
CCT?
don't know.
No.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Oh.
No.
No.
It's possible.
Well, I do.
Everyone thinks, wait, what are you?
I'm CCT as well.
Same.
Yeah. But one of our courses is like making our own website.
It's definitely something
And
for me.
then-
Don't worry. I'm gonna move on to the next
Yeah.
class, but maybe we'll play it.
And like,
I'll just-
it's a really
Follow
useful
with
course.
me.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Or
but it's not you.
maybe it's just
Not you.
compared to what I'm used to.
Okay.
Okay. But like we actually do. I feel like.
Have we chosen a song for step 2? Okay, then we can go to the third step, which is now the part where people don't think about when making a podcast is you need a title and a description for the thing that you're basically making. Often, like, you might be Camilla might care about cultural phenomenons as an example. So you need to give it a title and a description. So what we try to do is automate it, but just for the sake of today, you gotta want to give it, your product, your podcast, its own title. So maybe take a few minutes, think of a title to give it and a description, and a very short description, and see if you guys are happy with that. I'm gonna walk around. You okay? You okay? You okay?
Yeah.
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
You have earphones in, right?
Yeah.
Is that playing?
No.
So bad. It's not you. I just have to tell you on this one. What should be happening is, well, let's choose a song.
What was on the outro?
Yeah, on the
outro.
music part, it just was not selecting.
Yeah,
It's not you.
No, not you, it's me. Okay, there we go. I want to just choose that for now. And then go to the next task. But it's not you, don't worry.
Yeah.
It's the tool. I'm just getting notes for this.
Okay.
But just think of the titles and the description, and then see if you want to touch those up a little bit.
Yeah.
But just review it and see if those work.
When we click generate a podcast.
I mean, I guess we've just chosen different like courses. Yeah.
Wait, I don't even
Now
know
play
if
it back.
like that program.
It's Theo, right?
Yeah.
You got to the last step.
The little
Did you get to the last step?
I know.
Is it playing? Is it playing
The intro.
Mhm. Okay, so it's playing everything. So now, now download.
Yeah,
Now, if you go to the bottom left of the table.
I did it.
You downloaded it?
I'm not gonna put it on
No, you're cool.
Spotify.
No, it's cool. I still want to show you how to. Don't worry. I still want to show
I'll do it
you.
because they have their own like Spotify account.
Yes. But you've downloaded. Everyone's got their final files on the last step. Is yours loading? How about you? It's still loading.
Mine's
You're not playing? Why did everyone choose the same jazz? Okay, everyone chose the same song. That's fantastic. Okay, I'll download that. Yeah, but why is using the same?
It's very upbeat.
I'm kind of confused. I chose the vibe. So everyone downloaded their song?
Yes.
Okay, now, congratulations. Last step. Or second last step. We're going to now go to Spotify. You don't have to publish it, but I want to show you the steps so you know how to get it done, right?
So are we going to Spotify now?
Yes.
Will you use your own private Spotify account for that?
So let me show you right now. I'll show you right now.
Sorry, that's like a 101 question. I have no idea.
It's perfectly okay. So I think you have to have a Spotify account, but essentially, if you look on your email, there's a link called Spotify for Podcasters. Do you all have it?
Yeah, got it.
In the email, yeah, no, I don't know if I emailed it to you. Okay. So we've got that. Spotify for Podcasters. So essentially, what happens is that there's a record. Just so we can reframe. There was a recording part, and there was an editing part. Now we have to publish it. So we've made a product. We have this story to tell. Now we have to release it to the world. And the way in which we do that is through Spotify. What we're hoping to do is to bring all of these steps into one place. You don't have to keep like going to different channels, etc. to do it. But for the sake of today, we're going to go through the exercise. So if you click Get Started, just watch my screen. That should get you set up. I'm going to log in with my own. I only have a question. You okay?
No,
Okay.
just
Okay. Cool. No worries.
observing. Thank you.
No
Sorry.
worries. No, you're fine. I have my own account. I'm going to log in with my existing account that I have. So let me just.
Yeah, exactly. Creative and a business account. Or whatever.
Is that my, what's my account?
It only ever happens to me when I'm sharing screen. Like,
When you're sharing your screen, like your
Yeah,
password, yeah, this is so
yeah.
awkward.
that is just a classic.
Jeez, bro. The worst thing is I actually have an account already. Is everyone logged in? Okay, let me just do it from scratch as if I don't have one.
So I have been polling you guys to see how we go.
He's like,
No,
I'm getting
I didn't
good
bring
at
this up, somebody else brought this up.
Okay. Sorry. One more, what's going on today?
While we're waiting for that, can I ask what platform you guys listen on? Like, if you're listening to podcasts, what do you use? Spotify. Everyone.
I use BeanPod as well. BeanPod.
If there's one that I really care about the visuals, I'll watch it on YouTube.
YouTube, right? Yeah.
Mainly Spotify.
YouTube used to be the first one like 5 years ago,
Yeah.
and Spotify took over, obviously.
I remember.
And I've got a real grudge with Spotify, so.
Was it Mark Maron, like one of the first big podcasts?
Say again?
Do you know who Mark Maron is?
Yeah.
Wasn't he like one of the first big like YouTube podcasts?
I think so.
Videoed
Him was like Spotify native, and Joe Rogan went like Spotify native too, which was like a big one. I don't know.
Sorry, give me a second.
It's called Podbean.
Podbean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about it. I haven't used it.
So Podbean is great. The reason I'm trying to do this is for you, it's free. Spotify podcast is free. Podbean you have to pay.
Yes.
Oh, that's why I did it first.
So this is why but Podbean is great. It's also great. But this one is free. So I'm trying to just keep you guys' costs down when you do publish. But Podbean is the oldest, one of the oldest running hosting.
What's the most traditional, like, I'm guessing something from Adobe, software to edit podcasts? Would it be like Premiere?
The oldest is Audacity, and then Premiere is the most common one for like professionals. If you're professional, Premiere is the most. If you want to like work in PR, you want to work with Premiere.
I guess it's okay. You didn't like one. Okay, you just have to.
Audition.
Yeah,
Premiere for video.
I
Premiere
know.
for video, auditions for audio. Sorry, you're right.
Audition is the Adobe one. Audacity
It
is
seems like the letters they chose to move
and it's
now.
free.
It's like the
So
tutorial.
this thing,
The A and the Z.
I need to go back and
Yeah.
think
The
of what I
library is
it's
called
free.
for editing software.
Okay.
They do?
So for
Okay.
example,
You enjoy it?
Did you say that the library has classes?
I really like the guys with
They do? Okay.
and go to the, like, last.
10 million, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, so they come to offer
This
in
thing's the
November,
outlaw is weird on Tuesday, so you guys are also
Okay.
me this month.
I have an
It's
account.
No, my
Learn
cousin.
what's it.
$50 million
Okay.
and still being denied bail.
Okay, then you'll see, I have
So wait, should we publish?
zero
I
experience.
don't,
Yes,
I don't
base.
you don't have to actually publish. Okay.
That color's
Like, I think
I can see
want
that.
to start a podcast.
One more thing that you might want to know is the department has a high quality podcast mic that you can borrow. We have many other mics that are fine, but a podcast mic is like super nice. So if you need it, and you can like borrow it for a couple hours. And that computer is gonna get an upgrade and get Audition on it and like Adobe Cloud. So like you can do the whole podcast in here.
And
Here,
the mic is for.
She went to.
it's for CCT mostly. It's for GSACs. It's for everyone.
Okay. I think I might be able to. Are you all logged in? Are we all logged in? Do you see this on your screen, or is it a bit same screen? Yes. Okay. So now I want to start a new podcast. You click that. Okay. Oh wait, did you see where I was before?
So I have it like this. Because it's in my account.
Oh, you have my account?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Cool. So what is everyone? Just want to make sure everyone is set up correctly. Is everyone on Spotify for podcasters? Just so I'm on the. Are you guys all?
Yeah.
Okay. So essentially now, all you do now is just add details about your particular account. So for example, so let's go through a similar exercise. CCT podcast as an example will be the last step, so that you're published. CCT podcast. Then we'll say workshops at Iteration Lab. Okay, author Dumi, category. So if you just fill in this form by watching me, I'll say, let's say tech news, language English. Cool. So over here, you have an option to, are we all able to use Canva?
Yeah.
Are we all able to use Canva? Canva is incredible. Like it's one of the companies one of the tools I love the most. But essentially, Canva is where you go to design. You don't have to do it. We don't have to do that design today. But essentially, you can see where, like, we're launching a podcast for our own technology. But essentially, we design everything on Canva. And you know, every podcast has its own thumbnail image. Like this is the image for this particular episode, etc. You don't have to always do an episode artwork, but you can just have one if you want. But essentially, Canva is a super easy way to design a thumbnail. So I'm gonna just showing you that as a reference, so that because if you look at Spotify for podcasters, they'll always want a thumbnail for you to upload on their particular platform. So over here, I'm gonna select a file. I'm gonna use one that I always just use, that's for Shanda itself, and that'll give you the thumbnail to the show, right? And you've added that as a thumbnail that you can set up for your own show. Have you guys managed to set everything up?
I was just following.
Okay. Cool. Cool, great. And the next step will be to basically upload the audio that we just, now we're uploading all the things from the previous step.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when you log into Spotify, you're in your personal account, right?
Yes.
And you create this account for your podcast, which basically you're managing from your personal account.
So it can be from any account, but essentially what just needs to happen is you personally need to have a Spotify account.
Okay.
So let's say for the business school, when I did a podcast with them, it was still on my account, but they could also log into a different email address. So there was like a shared email address they could always, yes, you get the account, but they can always log in to say, hey, share account with like American policy. And you can share your account, but at least there needs to be one Spotify user. But you can share it. So,
I have two questions. My first question was with respect to mics. If you progress and you start using a mic, I'm really not familiar. So that just plugs into a computer or whatever and then it automatically is able to, or do you have to have a program or something to calibrate?
The mic itself?
Yeah.
I can show you after we finish.
Okay.
Does that work?
Yeah, sure.
It's pretty easy though. Yeah.
And my second question was more broadly, I'm not sure if you're correct. You yourself as a content creator, in terms of scheduling.
Great question.
Okay, how do you do this in advance? Do you have a plan? I can only assume having multiple podcasts also.
Completely agree. So to me, answer your question. So I do what they call batching.
Okay.
So I will do 8 recordings because we're busy. We're all really busy. We have lives, we have school. So I'll do like 5, then I'll do 10 recordings on Zoom or wherever, or like on my phone, etc. with my classmates. And then I will edit them, get everything ready. And then on Spotify you'll see you can then schedule it.
Okay.
So now you've done all the work like weeks ago, and then now you're just posting it every week. Hey, on LinkedIn or wherever social media listen to my new podcast episode, and that way you're freed up. You aren't overwhelmed by trying to do your life, record, edit at the same time. So I do everything at once. I load them up, finish everything, and then I just schedule all of my posts. So you'll see I'll be posting until December now, but I did all of my recordings in July. So, but it doesn't have to be 10. You can still do 4 or 3 just to get yourself going, and then that buys you a month. And then at the end of the month, you can just do another 3 or 4, etc. So I think the key thing is, to go back to the original point, planning is so important. And the way I've seen people be successful is loading a reasonable amount of recordings up front for themselves. And then preparing them and then releasing them. And then there's not too much work in your daily schedule. Does that make sense?
Yes, because I presume consistency for the listeners is helpful. And,
Yes.
you have a season or how much, and then you're like, oh, we want more, like, to be able to.
It's like human beings are creatures of habit.
Yeah.
So if you tell me, on Monday at 12 o'clock, every Monday I'm going to be here with this thing for you, people begin to trust you because of that. And one of my mistakes in the beginning was I would release on Tuesday and then Wednesday, and I was just so variable in how I would offer my stories to people. But I think once you are able to plan and really get your recordings done up front, you can then release every day that catches it. With this programming, every day, Tuesday, 12 p.m. We're going to release this particular recording at this time. And then people, they know Iona drops every Tuesday. And that's kind of what I found being like the most effective thing.
So you're essentially building a relationship.
It's totally.
Starting.
It's a relationship. And the fact that the human brain can't, like, I was speaking with Carol, who was here earlier. She had someone, people won't stalk you, but she used to work at NPR, and then someone was showing up to her class because they thought they actually knew her, because they listened to her every day. So the human brain can't really detect whether they think they know you because they hear your voice, and you build an attachment with the person. So don't be freaked out. Don't be freaked out.
CCT, I think there's like a whole time when you're learning about parasocial relationships.
Exactly. It's
So like
parasocial
that's
relationships.
what in podcasting is like.
It's literally.
They are like talking to each
And you're in someone's ear, so it's really intimate. Okay, so is everyone okay? Okay,
No,
so.
I'm not.
Okay, great. This is perfect.
It's always good.
So, where to put the picture? So, here, maybe instead.
This is a really bad feature. I know exactly where you struggle. There should be a pause. So, yeah, right, she pressed that button.
Oh, it's here.
It's way too low. It does it.
Oh, so where it was? I don't have a picture, but I want to know where it was. She's the podcast. Oh, you should only did.
It's very obscure. I was took me a while. And then you said there should
I'm
be
just
some
very
things.
curious because I'm a big YouTube
That's okay.
watcher, so like.
Wow, we're going live. This is sick. That's sick. That's sick. That's so good. Camilla, you good? You done help?
Yeah.
You good?
How did you? Yeah.
No, you're good. Yeah.
So there's a whole like
sports
That's sick.
Yo,
That's sick.
That is very
How do you
expensive and
change that
very
background?
Yeah.
gradual. It's kind of like
the video background.
Let's get to the craziness. but to be educated.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't know everything of this, obviously, but what you like basically
So what do
can
you
do
want?
with your
Well, I want to
today,
upload
it's
on my
pretty
own
good.
video.
A lot
So-
of like
Okay,
high
so this whole
end
like
podcasts are
the
nowadays,
thumbnail.
Yeah,
if you want,
I don't. Well, the one that I
you're
initially
like
was doing
start
was
like
not live, but then this
recording
one's
on
like a live.
my
You know,
own
like
something
this
that
thing's
you
the
can
background. It's like some
shade,
moving.
shade.
Where's the
Sometimes
video?
see that
Upload the
on
video?
this
Like a
videos.
bigger, yeah.
This little umbrella that you put in front of the thing so that your sounds don't.
Actually, I know that you have to go
But,
at
like,
12:30,
yeah,
so
there's
all
a-
good.
like,
But
all
essentially, all that it was would have been
you
the
allow
last
it
step,
to
which
your
is
computer.
upload and then press
Just
publish,
select
and then
it as
it's
like
that's the last step.
a
So
recording source.
so you're good.
Recording
So
on
it's
quick time.
that easy.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's very much.
no, have you used Canva before?
No, I
It's your
haven't.
first
But
time. I'm
again,
like, because my bank is full. Like, it's cool. It's really
This is like,
it's really simple. Really
Yeah,
simple and easy to
it's,
use.
and like there's a lot that you can do with it.
Totally.
So there's my video, and then I don't know.
How much will you drag it and drop it?
No, I'll just, like your phone is
So
around.
drag
you
it.
Just drag it and drop it into
Yeah,
the.
this can do. This is better at like
Okay, I want to get rid
Cool
of
though,
my-
right? But how easy, you just drop it.
Yeah. Okay, and then get rid of this background.
Just like click the background, click on the background.
Oh,
Yeah.
Undo.
I go back Shanda. Yeah.
okay.
See more. Yep.
But essentially,
Okay, and then make this bigger.
mm-hmm.
Oh no, it's not.
And then I don't know. Okay, and then just try and get rid of the
And
sound.
you can then everything set up. The one thing I would say was, if it's like a, this is really cool. This is really dope. This is dope. So you can of course tweak around with it. For the cover, remember this has to be a static image, but for your social, when you want to, when you're promoting it, that's what you would like say, hey, to be a caption underneath saying this is my podcast about global. We'll get to that, but essentially for the purposes of publishing on Spotify or
Oh
whatever.
yeah. So I'm on the. Let me give you my card.
I've got a static image.
Oh, you got one. Okay.
Well, there's one.
Ukrainian hero.
This
This was
one.
like literally it.
But it's not really. It's not the same because it's like just me. It's not with like other like global athletes. You know.
But either way, it's not good.
Still okay. You can always remember. So the thing I'm about to upload, you can always change after it's been uploaded. Like just because it's up there doesn't mean it's.
Oh, the thumbnail.
Yeah, you can always change it. Yeah. So you
Okay.
can once it's changed, you can be like, okay, I want to have a different vibe I want to give. You can always go back.
It's not really
Okay, so for YouTube, you'd make a thumbnail on here as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Just like YouTube, you know how YouTube has like the thumbnail. You can do the same for Spotify.
Okay.
You don't have to. You don't have to do it. Like let's say if you, but if you to give you an example, let's say in the recording you're like, hey, we're doing a poll on whether we think we like Leos versus whatever the case may be, and then you will do a poll. We'll just see. Okay. So if you want to do that, add that
Yeah,
to
which
the
I'll follow you
poll.
on Instagram. Okay, so you want to do that as well.
Oh, right. Businesses are gonna be like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
I just had a question here. If you have
No, but like it's even sadder. Like by the way, like the way I see things, even sadder. It implies like never ending. People are making
It's like not loading.
Great.
Okay. Oh my. Okay.
So
I'll
easiest,
speak
the easiest to use for me. And so that's like it's one to audio
sections, like
or
the
video.
money, the arm
And both are
skills,
fine.
like everything like that. Why is like Morris Johnson so
Nice to meet you.
Why is he
Thank you. Oh, actually, I have something for you.
because like they're like doing art.
I can't put it on.
The military industrial complexes.
Thank you so much. I'm going to send you an email.
Nobody who actually
playing
works
some
there.
here while you're I haven't. You should try. I don't actually know what that is,
Yeah.
but or like the
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Every time I
I'm
see
sure
like
You can keep in touch if you want to get to
military
way
like
that
complex,
Thank you so much.
it's like
Take care.
no,
So will you video or audio
Yeah, I do.
in the beginning?
I mean, what's the easiest?
The easiest, okay, Zoom is the easiest.
Oh,
And
it's
there's
way
a way in
better
which you
than
can make Zoom
I
feel like
do you know the
Zoom.
monument? The monument.
Yeah.
That's where we.
I think they are better to try better quality.
And it's so nice. It's like so good.
But to start off, we're trying to get started here. We're trying to get started here. Zoom, I would say, is the easiest, and then you go on a regular. And I'm going to just save you cost and time, so I would say Zoom is
And so we
the best
go
to start. And if you want to make it good quality, maybe you would add a mic. You don't have to do it, but you can add a mic.
like
Yes, yes.
so we like
Please, and
every
I'm not going anywhere. You can do more later.
Alright, then I'll text you when I get there.
But some days we don't. Yeah.
Thanks for bringing me here.
We like.
How's it going? Yeah? It's good. I'd like to talk to you more about your stuff. I have something for you though, before you go. I have something for
What's
you.
your podcast?
So maybe everyone you guys didn't have to. Sorry, I don't know if you see. I'll find it. I know.
And then you could.
It's in here.
Yeah, you could compare it, and you could be like showing like like a foreigner.
No, I'm sorry.
and you're comparing these to
your own show?
Yeah, but it could be
Tell me a little
you could
bit.
be like,
I can show you if you want.
yeah,
Sure.
This is not like
I hope I'm sorry, I'm
and then you could be like, this is the food that, so I obviously don't know that much. Like I know, like I've had sushi before, but you know I don't know like Japanese culture, or,
Wait, I wanna help
like the
you.
real
This is
food.
what I did.
So then you can show,
Okay.
because I've done it as
The guy since, so I was
This
just
is short, but we can do like
and so I have like,
University of Southern California.
you know, like I have that sort of thing, and so we could do, we can do that, and we could like go and I don't know any sushi. I haven't actually researched Japanese restaurants
Mom,
maybe,
dad,
but
Okay.
one podcast about podcast.
basically paid to be on the USC football team.
Okay.
But you know, he funded when I was like,
You don't have to
food truck. He's like, yeah, all right, I'll buy a food truck. It's like, come on. So right now, he's kept it up, which is
Thank you so
clutch.
much,
He's
Dave.
in Japan, Japanese football team.
I have your mail.
But this is my favorite one. So this guy, he was our Heisman quarterback winner.
We're designing.
okay, bye bye.
He
Well, we're almost live. Are you guys almost? Are you almost ready?
but you know, we got the chance to interview the 14 players.
You can share mine.
She did say, but you're almost.
Yeah, I did everything.
This is it.
It has a lot of views.
Yeah, it's just,
Yeah, I think
I'm
it's
waiting
because this was like one of
You
his
can't
first
really
interviews.
publish
Like he
No,
just got
it
around
says
the
go
first
verify it.
No, all of them. I see a
Oh.
You don't have access
Yeah,
to
we,
it.
awesome.
we tried. And we got, it was mainly like very guest heavy.
I don't have it
so
on my
we had
phone.
like
No, I
just
do,
other
but
USC
it's
football
not
players on it.
very good.
Kind of listen, but then we got like sports medicine doctors.
I'm gonna wait for.
And
you
that
to
was
come back
the,
so you can get
that
your-
was kind of the type of guest you like to include, or it was all over?
They were all trying to be semi like in the sports arena. But it was also like very much who could Mo pay to get on.
Yeah.
So like when we had
Yeah.
a chance to get like that.
See, everyone keeps saying that looks sick. Everyone.
Yeah.
He went to USC, like we use that as our goal.
Yeah, why not?
Anything that would kind of attract you.
And is
So I
this
think
something
this is like the
you
last
like,
thing
go
which is
for a run,
the thumbnail.
or is this something
But
you're
I'm gonna
studying
then
to
take
do
it
now?
from Renee, how are you managing?
To be honest,
You good? You
I've
managing?
been really
What's yours about
I
it?
kind of
Ooh,
like
this
to
is-
use. So this is
rambling with
this is what I do.
friends, just
It's
some
so
hot
good.
Something
takes.
CCT.
This is really good. Is it just you and you, two of you?
Probably I can invite a bunch of my girlfriends.
Okay.
That's great.
Cool.
Let me know when you are ready to download it because I want to leave. Remember, we said we want to publish today.
Yeah.
That's the goal. And we can always go back and edit, remember?
But that's cool.
But I want you to see what it feels like to
Yeah,
actually have
yeah,
a show
yeah.
live.
Like once you podcast,
Yeah,
he would just teach me Premiere.
Okay.
Because I just
There's also there's a
need to-
visual element, so it's kind of
I'm gonna try to
like
get you
video.
Mhm.
I know.
I'm sorry.
So Katya was telling me that she wants to start.
You have to go?
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much.
That's
Thank you
really
so much.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm very.
I want to do more.
I'm
I want to definitely do more. I can't use this space, but I'm going to do a lot more like.
Oh, you know that we
Workshops.
can
Just on
rent
the-
in library
love to
space,
learn
it's like
more.
free.
About
And
that.
also they have like
Yeah,
video
you're
and
Talk to you, I'm not gonna lie.
I like
I enjoy
Yeah.
Would you guys
visual edit.
Okay.
But wouldn't it be like
I don't know, it feels like
Yeah, what's the preferred day? Is it Friday?
you're
the
part
10th?
of your city,
I don't
kind of
actually
with
know.
them, and you're like part of the conversation, whether they're on
Okay.
their couch or like,
Yeah, I don't
it feels like you're
Yeah.
part of it.
So Friday is like the next day. Well, I wanted to make sure that
everyone.
is this valuable. Yeah.
Or you can maybe send.
Or watching the
Yeah.
See what
podcast.
Yeah.
So,
Perfect.
wanted to
You could.
thank you for
Yeah.
having me.
No, I wish I would have. I'm sorry.
You're good, I saw a little bit.
But you know the steps now.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, we
perfect.
know the
Yeah,
steps.
you know, you
Yes,
know
sir.
stuff.
Well, thank you for hosting.
Perfect.
Still.
Yeah,
Your
thank
site's
you
very
so
cool.
much.
You know the steps, you know what to do. The last step is to just one Spotify.
So nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much.